The following podcast contains spoilers for Blue is the Warmest Color. There's a lot of sex and nudity in it. You have been warned!
How do I follow up with that? What's up, everybody, and welcome back to KFR News Radio. This is your host, Benjamin Button, along with your host, Miguel Me Gusto. And a lot of sexy things are going down in this podcast today.
How's it going?
It's not bad. Hey, I got to see you the other day. It was fantastic.
You did. We smoked some meat, or I smoked some meats.
Yeah, you smoked some meats. I watched you smoke your meats, and I ate your meats. And
you did. You ate it.
You also ate your meats?
My meats went in your mouth. My meats went in my mouth.
I'm shivering just at the thought of it. I saw Miss Peanut Butter again. Oh my God.
Yes. And we watched a couple movies. So
we did.
With that being said, what movies have you seen in the past week?
Other than the ones that we saw together, I have been mainly trying to watch some shows. As I told you, like last week, I was watching Shameless. I'm now at not episode, season 3, and I am on season 2 of a new show called Hannibal.
Ooh.
Not a new show for me.
I don't remember you telling me this on Saturday at all. Pray tell.
It's got Mads Mikkelsen playing as Hannibal Lecter himself, and Hugh Dancy's in it. Lawrence Fishburne's in it. Mm-hmm. It's a really good show so far.
Lawrence Fishburne's very underrated.
Oh yeah,
I love Lawrence Fishburne,
and it's a really good show so far. I'm really enjoying it. It's really nice to see like a younger version of Hannibal Lecter being out on the streets doing what he do.
Oh yeah. But not when he's like 12 years old. No, he wasn't 12. They had one. I forget what the show was called, but they had one show where it was like an 18, 19-year-old Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah,
and
this one he's like mid 30s, early 40s,
and he was French for some reason. Don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. He kind of goes all over the place.
He's from Baltimore.
Yeah, well, he's got the Mads Mikkelsen accent still, so it doesn't change too much.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's all good. It's a really good show so far.
Yeah. So, watch anything else other than that?
The ones we saw together, which I'll let you go ahead and run down.
So, on Wednesday, I believe it was, I went onto Netflix and just hit their Black filmmakers collection. Just to try to support Black artists. Mm-hmm. And I saw one called "See You Yesterday," which is about these two kids who create time travel. They're in high school and they invent time travel, and I actually
think I passed this one.
Yeah, I highly suggest it. It's pretty good, and it's very interesting because they they brought it up to like modern times with modern tragedies. Mm-hmm. One of them, their brothers, gets killed by a police officer while he's unarmed. So they try to go back and try to save him from that. And it's just a really interesting concept, really. I really enjoyed it. Then, of course, I watched Blue is the Warmest Color. We'll get into that later. Mm-hmm. Then I watched Extraction. And
how'd you feel?
I was not expecting it to be that goddamn good.
Yeah, man.
Like, I thought it was just... that was the first movie that I saw since all of this has happened, where I just thought to myself, I wish I was in a movie theater right now. And that's not because I didn't want to see all the other movies in movie theaters, but this one was like, I could see it being so much better in a movie theater.
Yeah, when I had saw it and I said something about it on the podcast, I didn't want to overhype it for you, so I was just
appreciate that.
It's pretty good. It's really good. Like they had the action scene they had in the beginning was killer.
Yeah, that one-er in the middle.
Oh my God, it was fantastic. And then the relationship that those two had too.
Oh yeah, there's way more emotion in it than I thought there was. And also, there was one transition in the one-er. I honestly cannot remember it, but it made me go, whoo! Mm-hmm. Whoo! Because it was just so incredible. I feel like it was one of those shots where like the camera went into the backseat of a car and it just felt impossible. Yeah, how it was done.
But the craziest part about that one is I think I even plugged it that the the director was holding the camera during all that.
Yeah, the director's a stunt double, so I wasn't too surprised about that. He was a stunt double in some of the Avengers movies and other things, which is probably why the one of the Russo brothers or both produced this, because they believed in him as a filmmaker. Which, kudos to them, they were absolutely right. Honestly, this was better than any movie I've seen the Russo brothers make. So, and you can quote me on that.
Yeah.
Then I watched Legend with Tom Hardy playing the Cray twins, the gangsters in the 60s, I think, in London. Pretty good, nothing.
I really
amazing,
wanted to see that when it came out, but I never got around to it.
You should check it out. If you like Tom Hardy, you'll really enjoy it.
Oh, I do.
It's I feel like it could have been better.
Yeah.
But it's still a good movie. Then I watched the documentary "I Am Not Your Negro," which is about James Baldwin, who was a author that kind of, I don't know if he came up in the civil rights era, but he was definitely like a major influence in the civil rights era. He knew Martin Luther King and Malcolm X personally, and it's just kind of his, told through letters he wrote, his reaction to the civil rights movement. It's very powerful and moving. Highly suggest that one. Then, of course, you and I watched Da 5 Bloods, Spike Lee's new joint.
Mm-hmm.
I would say overall,
which I didn't even know was his at first.
Yeah, I would say overall, I enjoyed it. There was a lot of it I didn't like, but overall, I would say I felt positive about mostly.
Overall as a movie, I thought it was really good. There's just some things that happen during the movie. You're just like, okay, that kind of just is glanced over.
Yeah.
Not saying
Mainly
that somebody
death.
dies or anything, but...
yeah, it's mainly death that just felt like inconsequential.
Yeah.
But there were some really powerful moments, mainly with... what's his name? I want to say it's like Delroy Lindo, I think his name is. One of the actors.
Yes.
Yeah, Delroy Lindo. He plays like this conservative Trump supporting black veteran, and he had some really powerful moments, especially there. Not to get into too many spoilers, but he's by himself in the Vietnamese jungle and just delivers like these beautifully written Shakespearean-esque soliloquies where he's just talking to the camera, and it's so powerful, and he's amazing in it. So like, watch it for just that alone. The rest of it I felt was hit and miss, but that was really powerful.
Yeah.
Then we watched The Night Clerk with Ty Sheridan and Ana de Armas, which is directed by Michael Christopher. It's about a man with Asperger's who kind of has some voyeuristic tendencies, not for sexual reasons, but
just to learn
how people interact with each other. So it like starts off as creepy, but then you understand it, and it's still kind of creepy and cringy, but like his mind is in the right place.
We picked this movie at a complete perspective that we didn't know what else to watch.
We didn't know what else to watch.
Sat there for a solid 5 minutes, like, I don't know, dude.
Everything we wanted to watch was too long. You had to be gone at a certain time, and then this was a solid 90 minutes. And I enjoyed it for the most part. It's not amazing. It's just a good movie. Ty Sheridan's amazing in it, but the rest of it's just eh.
Yeah, it's really hit or miss.
Yeah, but
Ty Sheridan's great, but
see it for Ty Sheridan's performance alone. And then Sunday night, I watched a silent film from 1927. I shouldn't really say silent, though, because it was one of the first sync sound movies. It doesn't have any spoken dialogue, but it had... It came around the time of The Jazz Singer, which was the first one to have dialogue in it. And it's got... I think it had a soundtrack attached to it, which was unlike any movie of the time. Back then, they had like live bands playing the soundtrack, or a pianist or organist playing along with the movie. This had like a synced soundtrack, and it had sounds. It had like car honks. It had bells and stuff.
Semi-silent.
Semi-silent. I think they called it movie tone back then. And honestly, it was really incredible. It was It's about this guy who is convinced by his mistress to kill his wife.
Ooh.
But then right when he's about to, he doesn't, and he feels immediate regret, and tries to like make it up to her. Like, he never puts his hands on her, but there's a moment where she knows what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
And it's really powerful. And then the rest of the movie is kind of them falling back in love, it's honestly the only time I've ever been happy for a romantic story in a film. Like, it was honestly beautiful. I don't know how else to describe it without getting too much away, but it's a great movie.
Make me tear up right now with that.
It was directed by F.W. Murnau, who is a German director who did Nosferatu, the first Dracula movie ever made. So yeah, highly suggested if you get a chance to watch it. That's Sunrise, directed by F.W. Murnau. And that's all I watched this week. I know that's quite a bit. So
it wasn't too bad, though.
Yeah, not too bad. But we should get into some news.
Absolutely.
Glenn, do you have any news?
I do. So I have recently got an email saying that Regal is announcing phased reopening of theaters beginning July 10th.
You son of a bitch. That was my news.
Well, there we go. Obviously, I'll be in there probably a week or two earlier than that, but I'm still not sure what's exactly going on with my position. But hey, everybody, we get to watch movies again.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
And from what I understand, they're starting small. Like, my theater has 16. I think they're opening half of those theaters, and maybe not even half the seats. So it's going to start slow and then like slowly try to get back into business. So
yeah,
good news.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone keeps talking about how like nothing is going to be the same after this coronavirus thing. It's like it has to go back to the way things are eventually.
Yeah.
Like, more people might be wearing mouth coverings or masks, but like things have to go back to normal. It can't just change forever.
Yeah,
like,
more people will definitely be more aware of, germs and stuff like that. And absolutely, as they should be, as they should have always been. Like, I know my job for sure is more than likely I'm going to have to clean every single seat after every single showing.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I read in the email from Regal that they have like this disinfecting fog that they can shoot onto all the seats. So it should be relatively quick. From what I read, I don't know the details of it.
Interesting.
But it's kind of like what they've been spraying in cities.
Yeah.
At certain points. And it's like non-toxic but disinfects seats. So I don't know how true that is. That's what the email said.
Yeah, we'll see about it then.
But that email was also directed to customers. It could be completely different.
Who knows? So there we go. Movie theaters are opening up real soon.
I am super pumped. Obviously, the last movie I saw was Wendy on March 9th at the Bryn Mawr Film Institute. Mm-hmm. And if anyone listening knows me, that is a painful statement for me to say. I have been lost. Although it has made like not being able to go anywhere easier, because literally the only place I wanted to go was to get food and see movies, and you can still get food. So
yeah, that's the love of it. That is the love of it.
That is the love. So that's all the news you had, I take it?
Yeah. Yep. What's really funny is I was afraid that we'd have the same news, but I'm glad we didn't.
Yeah, same here. So let's get. Oh shit! Oh, hold on. I just got rid of a bunch of shit. Let's get into blue. Is the warmest color.
J'étais pas bien. C'était trop bien.
Allez, les détails.
Il y en a pas.
Comment ça, il y en a pas? Vous avez fait quoi? Je comprends pas.
On a passé l'après-midi ensemble, c'est tout.
C'est parce que c'était naze que tu ne racontes pas?
Putain, on dirait la PJ du sexe, quoi. J'ai l'impression de faire semblant. Faire semblant de tout. Moi, il me manque un truc.
Oh, damn it.
I want you to try these names, okay?
No, I saw your fucking status the other day.
What did I say?
Your passion in life is me trying to pronounce French names. Blue is the warmest color. No. No.
I'm going to say it is directed by Abdelatif Kashish. Abdelatif Kashish is what I think it is.
All right. Blue is the warmest color. Directed by Abdelatif Kashish. Written by the same human being. Galia Lacroix. Stars Leah Seydoux. Dude, I don't know. I'm not even going to fucking try anymore. I'm gonna start adding X's in oh my god.
Exarchopolis.
I feel like, you ever see somebody just on meth and scratching their neck? That's me right now. I'm just like, oh god, I can't do this.
Got any more of those French names?
Yeah. Adele's life is changed when she meets Emma, a young woman with blue hair who will allow her to discover desire and to assert herself as a woman and as an adult. In front of others, Adele grows, seeks herself, loses herself, and ultimately finds herself through love and loss. I feel really bad about not pronouncing these names, but it's it literally blows my mind.
I'm going to try the top two. Leah Seydoux and Adele Exarchopoulos. I don't know if that's...
Exarchopoulos.
Exarchopoulos.
I don't know. Anyway, so 3-hour movie.
3-hour movie, which you picked.
I did.
Because it is Pride Month, of course.
Yes.
Which I had no problem with. If anyone listened to last week's episode, you will know that I was not stoked about watching this one. I watched it on Wednesday to just get it out of the way because I knew it would ruin my weekend if I had to watch it on the weekend. And
funny enough, I was going to ask you if you wanted to see this on the day we hung out. And God, am I glad we didn't do that.
We'd have to have pillows on our laps the whole time. No, I was not excited about this because I had tried to watch it several times before and could never get past the first 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I have to say, after watching the entire thing, not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it was still rough.
Yeah.
The story does not warrant 3 hours, in my opinion.
It really doesn't. And in fact, multiple times I checked the run, how much I had left. I think I checked 3 times. Holy shit!
Yeah,
that felt like an hour and a half right there. It was an hour maybe. It felt like a 3.5 hour movie. That's kind of how much isn't warranted.
Yeah.
It takes its time, and some of the scenes in it, take their time.
Yeah, like I said, it's very graphic sex scenes, which, if I want to watch porn, I would just watch porn. I wouldn't watch a story. And I'm not saying to not have any sex scenes, but I timed it. There was a total of 15 minutes of sex scenes in there. I read other places that there's 20 minutes, so I might have mistimed it. I don't really know. The longest one was close to 7 minutes long. And that's 7 minutes without dialogue, without character development. It's literally them just going at it. And it's not that it's not beautifully shot. It's not that, it's not well acted. I believed they were having sex, even though it's simulated, mainly because they have a close-up of a vagina and one of them performing cunnilingus. But it got to the point where it became laughable. It's just...
Yeah, it was... I was watching the movie on my computer, and I've got dual monitors, so I'm watching it on one, and I'm talking to my buddy at the same time, and we're actually kind of into a conversation. I'm like, yeah, dude, this is great. So, all right, hold on. You got to give me 7 minutes. I can't talk to you and watch this at the same time.
Yeah, it's just not. There was so much of it that was not needed. It was too long. There was actually I read that there is a 2-hour cut somewhere. And
it is weird. I saw at the end that this was split into chapter 2. This was chapter 1 out of 2 or something like that.
Well, the director said that he wanted to make more films about Adele's character. That's why he said chapter 1 and chapter 2. There's a 2-hour cut, but the French producers, and only the French producers would probably think this, agree that the 3-hour cut is better. I honestly don't see how the 3-hour cut is better. It's just not warranted. It drags, especially in the middle, and then also towards the end after they break up, is it just drags. It makes its point, but then keeps making its point for the next 20, 30 minutes and just doesn't bring any new information to the front. It doesn't change anything. It's just the same for 3 hours.
So I actually kind of liked this movie. I won't say I liked it a lot. I thought it was really enjoyable, more than I thought it would be.
It was definitely more enjoyable than I thought it was.
Yeah. So like I really was like digging Adele's character in the beginning. She's
except for her not liking metal.
well, yeah, that
Fuck you, Adele.
I thought they all had long hair. I was really enjoying her character. She's kind of like finding out who she is. She sleeps with a guy. Realize it's not fun for her in any way. She wasn't enjoying it, and then she glances at this one chick who, of course, we find out later is Emma, and they reunite somehow. But then she tries hooking up with a chick, and then the chick was like, I was just kidding, which is fucked. And then like you're slowly, she's like learning what she wants to do in her future, and then later, maybe like 30 minutes into the movie, 45, they finally reunite. And there was like a thing in the beginning where it's like, oh, love at first sight, and love at first. And those two, they glanced at each other. That's the love at first sight, which I thought was okay. Wasn't really needed. Like they kind of like had a heavy note on that in the beginning.
Yeah.
So like then their relationship starts picking up, and that's when the sex scenes start happening after they finally realize they actually really do like each other, even though the one's dating somebody at the time.
And honestly, I felt it came to a screeching halt when they met. I was actually really enjoying the movie, watching it with new eyes, because it had bored me before, but I actually tried to enjoy it this time.
Yeah.
And I found the nuances of her character. I found the nuances of her trying to discover her sexuality. I found it very compelling. She's a great actress. Especially with her friends berating her all the time. And then they meet, and when they meet, it comes to a screeching halt because there's like a 10-minute scene of them just talking, and they're not talking about anything in particular, which, yes, very realistic, but we go to see movies to cut out the boring parts.
Yeah.
And then of course, when she meets at their high school again, and all her friends see, and they start berating her like, "Are you a lesbian?" That scene was very intense. But then after that, it just
at that scene, I was like, I hate high school. So.
Oh yeah. It was really stupid, and it's the mystery behind her sexuality is more interesting than her discovery of it. Like, not so much the fact that like once she finds out she's a lesbian or bisexual. I'm pretty sure she's bisexual. Yeah. They never put a label on it. But once she kind of discovers it, it becomes kind of boring and repetitive, and it just lost my interest after that. It's kind of like, this is going to be a really weird analogy, but it's kind of like monster movies when you don't. It's always better when you don't see the monster. I'm not saying, anything about lesbians being monsters or anything. Just don't make that comparison. But it's more interesting with the mystery than it is the actual discovery.
Yeah, she kind of jumps back and forth a lot. So I mean, she's definitely bi. The reason and we're not even there yet, but the reason why it flip-flops so much is for reasons to deal with Emma. In the beginning, it was just to deal with her discovery, but we'll get to the other part later. I was really intrigued, and then they met up. I'm like, okay, this is fine. And then she has this thing where she just doesn't want people to know that she's a lesbian or bisexual or anything.
Yeah.
Even though she's got this relationship, people see it, that she just doesn't want. She just doesn't express it.
Yeah.
And it was understandable, but weird. Especially since you have so many people at parties and stuff like that and seeing your relationship. And she's like, so you don't talk about me? Or Emma saying that.
Yeah.
I thought that was weird. It was part of her character, though. Especially towards the end, that comes up a lot. where do I want to transition from that? I liked it. The middle is definitely the part that kind of messed with it a lot. The beginning was nice. It was her evolution of finding out what she is, what she wants to be, meeting this person, and then the middle is kind of drags out they're starting their air quotes life together. They're getting in this mold. She's becoming a teacher and stuff like that, and then you're realizing she's slowly becoming an asshole, and that's where the third act comes in. It's just real hard. Where she's
Emma or Adele?
Adele, to me, is just a straight up asshole.
Emma was kind of also an asshole.
Yeah, absolutely.
But because we saw Adele more, that's when it was more noticeable.
That she would act on more asshole than Emma would.
Yeah.
So she worked a lot. She was not into being as physical as much anymore, Emma. And then this thing came up with her, would you call him boss? That was ex-boss or something like that. He just worked with her a lot or something.
Who, Emma?
Yeah.
Well, I'm fairly certain they were talking about her, the pregnant woman that was at the party. Who, if you're talking about who Adele suspected Emma was having an affair with.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was the pregnant woman because... but I don't know their relationship other than I think they used to date. I'm not 100% sure. I remember reading in the subtitles that they used to date.
As soon as she found that out, she kind of just became unhinged.
Yeah.
And just not happy. And then just went and kind of slept with one of her coworkers a couple times. And then both their relationship, they just kind of came down. And it was very, very roller coaster.
Yeah. And it's... The biggest problem for me with this whole film is that knowing the director is a man, again, not that a man couldn't make this film, but with just how explicit it was, it felt slightly abusive. In fact, I was reading up on this a little bit, and both lead actresses said that they would not work with him again. And that there's, he was borderline abusive with how... particular he was with everything. The scene where they walk by each other and exchange glances. A very simple scene for anyone that knows what the fuck they're doing. So I'm claiming that this guy doesn't know how the fuck to make a movie, or he's just fucking abusive. It's one of the two. It's not something different. He's either abusive or doesn't know how to make a movie. He took 100 takes to shoot that scene.
Excuse me?
And it's not like I still don't think what Kubrick did to Shelley Long was a good thing, but at least there's emotion in that scene and not just a quick glance.
Yeah.
That he in The Shining, that he infamously made her do a number of takes until she had like a mental breakdown. They're literally walking by each other. It is 2 shots and they did 100 takes for something that wasn't even that impressive.
That's ridiculous.
Honestly, that felt the most forced out of any scene. So I don't know what he was looking for because it didn't feel real. It didn't feel real the way he did it. And he also, they took 10 days to shoot the 7-minute sex scene.
You know what's really funny? While I was having a conversation with my buddy, he's like, wait, they had to do a sex scene for like 8 straight minutes? I'm like, no, dude, this is just one, that's not even just one take. I can only imagine how long they had to actually just go at it.
10 days. I mean, obviously that's like on and off, but
yeah.
And honestly,
I was like, this 7 minutes could be like 70 hours.
I don't see how that would take 10 days, except for him wanting spank bank material. That's legitimately the only reason I could think of this taking 10 days, which is why I have a problem with this movie. It's not the nature of it, it is how it was filmed. Like if he just shot, if it was like the pie scene in a Ghost Story, then he made them do it once, whatever, it's still kind of weird, but I could understand that. But 10 days where it's essentially just him, maybe a cameraman, and them in a room.
Yeah.
That's problematic to me. Like I honestly think that he is abusive. Like yes, we have directors that also do like a lot of takes, like David Fincher, Kubrick when he was still alive and all that. But people say that they would still work with him.
Yeah.
So that's where it becomes problematic to me is that he made them do all these takes. He took 10 days to shoot a 7-minute sex scene, which in my opinion wasn't really that impressive and honestly kind of laughable.
Well, this is where what I said last week comes in, or 2 weeks ago, where you've got a director like Spike Lee who can make these sex scenes feel like they're implemented in the movie so well and just actually a part of it. Mm-hmm. And then you've got this guy who the sex scenes did seem like great, like they were fine, but then they came along for such a long amount of time.
Yeah.
And overstayed their welcome big time. Like, I felt the passion there that they had for each other, but I felt a lot of passion after when they were cuddling in a Sideways 69.
Just each other's assholes,
just
right
literally
in their faces.
staring at each other's asses. Not like I was saying, Spike Lee has a tendency to make sex included into it, and it makes it feel like it's supposed to be there. This overstayed its welcome way too long, and there was just too many. Like, we don't need to see a dinner scene and then a sex scene 3 times. Mm-hmm. That's just overstaying. That's just too much.
And if you want to show that that's how passionate they are, do it with sound. And I'm not saying, again, like, I have no problem with sex scenes in films. I have problems with gratuitous sex scenes in films, and that's exactly what this is.
Or just have them laying in bed, just crazy haired after going at it for so long.
Yeah. We've already watched 7 minutes of them scissoring, even though any lesbian that actually exists would tell you that is not a good way to have sex when you're a lesbian.
Yeah, I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, I don't know if that's actually comfortable.
I mean, obviously, I'm not a lesbian, so I don't know, but I've been told and heard multiple times, including in a scene of Orange is the New Black, that is not a real thing, and that is like a thing just for porns. So it's you're exactly right. Like, they at first they began and felt like they belonged, but then they just kept going and going and going and going. And they definitely overstayed their welcome. Just looking at his face, he looks like a giant creeper. Like, I honestly, like, I feel bad for the actresses in this. Like, I'm sure that they wouldn't speak anything bad about the experience.
Yeah.
But also with acting, sometimes you're contractually obligated to not say anything bad about the experience. But the fact that they both said they would never work with them again, it took 100 scenes for them to just get to walk by, 10 days for them to do the sex scene. It's just something is not right about it. And obviously I could just be speculating it and blowing it up in my head, but it just all adds up to things of him being a complete doucher, and that's what I don't like about it. It's not the film itself, it's not the sex scenes itself, it's how they came into fruition.
Yeah, for real. There are some other things that I'd like to talk about. Not terrible things. Actually, I lied. Adele always has her mouth open. It has bothered me throughout the whole movie. Eating, breathing, all of it, staring. Dude, it is killing me.
Apparently she has a condition that...
Well, now I'm an asshole.
Well, I just read that somewhere. Like, I didn't hear it from her, so it might not be true. But I read somewhere, someone said that she has a condition that makes her have to, like, breathe through her mouth.
Yeah, well, first it was... I noticed that like she kind of just, whenever she stared or like ate, she kind of like chewed with her mouth open and everything like that. I'm like, okay, I get that if that's a character thing. And then I'm like, all right, now everything she's doing is doing that, and it's bothering me a little bit.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get that out there before I said some good things. So there's a huge theme of blue throughout the whole movie, which I thought was really cool.
Her hair, obviously.
Obviously, the hair was the biggest contributor to it. They had a lot of, there was water, there was paints, there was like dresses, there was a lot of it, and a lot of it was in the beginning half, and how like different emotions and stuff like that were going on. And I thought that was really cool. Mm-hmm. And then when she changed, Emma changed her hair, everything kind of like drastically went down. There was a lot less blues and stuff like that.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I noticed that, and I'm also now in Google reading it as well. But
yeah, that's pretty good symbolism there.
So there's that. I thought that was really cool, especially at the end when Adele is wearing that blue dress at the end, I guess she's trying to get back into the groove of it. I don't know how else to explain that. But I thought the themes were really cool. I thought the cinematography was great, even though the sex scenes were very elongated and everything. I thought they were very well shot, and just the movie itself was very well shot. I thought everything was.
I would say those scenes were well shot, but not enough to warrant 7 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah,
but yeah, I agree. They are well shot.
That's on a whole different cutting block.
Yeah, I had a little bit of problem with the lighting. The lighting seemed like set lighting when they're in a bedroom, which is exactly how porns are lit. So it really makes me wonder what this guy was trying to make. Like, I told someone that it felt like he wants to direct porn, but then he creates these elaborate plots around them just so he can tell his parents that he's an artist.
His porn is too good for regular porn.
You missed my joke, man. You talked over my joke. I said he wanted to direct porn, but then created these elaborate plots so that he could tell his parents that he's an artist. Okay, so it's just a bad joke. No problem.
I looked down. I dropped my head.
Oh.
This poor guy. But
I'm an artist, Mom.
I'm an artist, Mom. Look at my work. You're making porn, son.
There's 20 minutes of sex in there, but didn't you see the other 2 hours and 40 minutes?
What other 2 hours and 40 minutes? It's the only part I
fast forward to the nudity because your mom's a freak.
But yeah, I liked the theme of the blues. I liked the music. I liked the cinematography. I thought everything else about this movie was great. The relationship was super rocky, and it eventually came to a screeching halt regardless. I also, when you were watching the end, when they were going at it in the restaurant,
who the fuck does that?
And nobody stopped them. I'm like, who? These guys are assholes.
100%. That was when the whole movie lost me. I'm like, okay, you everyone cries about the realism of that entire movie, but I don't care how dead the restaurant is. If you do that in a restaurant, someone's fucking seeing you. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're on like a raised platform like they are. Yeah. Like, and they're loud too. They're loud about it. They're not just being quiet. They just fucking went at it.
Yeah, I liked the movie in the beginning. It was okay in the middle, and the end pissed me off more than it should have, I think.
Yeah.
But everything around the film, what was like the colors and music and stuff like that and cinematography, I really enjoyed.
I would agree.
Thoroughly.
The acting was incredible.
Yes.
Cinematography, as we said, was incredible. I liked the absence of music in it for the most part. Like, I don't think there was an actual score except for maybe at the end. Mm-hmm. Like, every bit of music that was in it was actually in the film, or in the scene rather. There were like spikes of my enjoyment of it, like up until right after the scene where her high school friends accused her of being homosexual, and she's denying it. That was really compelling, and then after that, it was just a downward spiral, and then it spiked up again during the breakup scene, and then went down again, and then during the dialogue of the cafe scene, I was really enthralled, and then they started just diddling each other in the cafe with no one noticing, even though they're moaning very loudly.
There was a couple right behind them, too.
Right behind them. That is when it lost me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I completely 100% agree with everything you say. The biggest problem I have is how problematic the director seems. I don't like filmmakers who do that. Obviously, everyone knows about how, like, all the directors who pull this kind of shit. We don't need them in the industry. We fuck off.
Yeah.
So
I want to know how much spaghetti he made the cast eat.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Also, fuck Emma for saying, like, making a jab at her, at the Adele's dad.
Yeah.
Like, just because he can only make spaghetti. Like, fuck you elitist fuck.
Spaghetti's good.
Yeah.
And it's even funnier that she made spaghetti for that party.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, but other than that, I had a conversation not too long ago about how I like this movie for how it created gay characters, and how she's like, yeah, I thought it was okay. I'm like, you thought this was okay compared to like how Netflix kind of just plants like just random gay people in their shows. You're like, yeah, I kind of give and take at this point. I'm like, I see that, I guess.
I understand the implanting gay characters because gay people are a part of society, but you can tell the difference between the ones that like were actually started off gay from the beginning, and then ones that were like, oh, we should have a gay character in this.
Yeah, I was like,
one that I think is a good mixture of the two. Granted, they haven't confirmed it, but Stranger Things.
With
Will.
Yeah.
I feel like the way that that's being handled. Again, I don't know if he actually is gay. I remember them saying something in season 3 that hinted at it.
Yeah.
But I think that is honestly the best way a character has been handled in that situation.
Yeah, I was saying how like I'm watching Shameless right now, and they're kind of just bringing a couple of characters in every now and then that are gay for one of the main characters. And like, okay, the ones in this show I get, like they've got some character development coming to that fruition.
Yeah.
And then you've got random shows. I'm not just blaming Netflix specifically. They just have the most of them where they're just kind of there. I was like, there's character development of it, and then there's just there and stereotypically there, like for a show.
Yeah, you can definitely tell which ones are well-meaning and which ones are just like, look how hip
like,
we are.
Yeah, I get it 100%. Like, I actually like the way you think there, but also I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, I mean, I understand
I was like, no,
that
100%,
too.
got it.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I guess we should just get into the judgment since we've said all our pieces for Blue is the Warmest Color. Glenn, you picked this movie, therefore you go first with the judgment. What is your judgment? Does it become a little shelf girl, because we're inclusive here, a little shelf girl from the Girl Scouts with a box of Thin Mints right under her arm? Is it a shelf girl?
All right, so I've actually been struggling. I did like this movie a lot, more than I thought I would, more than you had initially said that it was bad from the get-go, not from since you rewatched it.
Ultimately, I was wrong about it from just not in the right mindset when I watched it the first 3 times I tried to watch it.
Yeah, I thought it was good. The relationship between the two, they're both assholes, but I liked everything around the movie, like the themes, the music, and all that. I just the director and the sex scenes kind of just ruin it in a way.
100%.
But I don't know if it should ruin the whole movie for me because of those things. Right? Well, regardless, I'm going to say it is. That's up to you what's next.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Well, see, for me, that does ruin it.
Yeah,
enough.
I know. That's why I'm leaving it up to you. Because everything else around it was like well structured and everything.
I agree.
It sucks that like someone and his decisions could ruin it like that.
Well, it's not just that. In my opinion, editing is the most important part of a film. Mm-hmm. And if you can't edit a story that keeps you engaged the entire time, I think that is the biggest downfall. Especially like if it's 90 minutes, it's forgivable. But if it's 3 hours long and you had the choice to cut it down, you even have a 2-hour long cut.
Yeah,
that's when it's unforgivable for me. So I agree 100% with everything you say. The director being a complete creeper completely ruins it for me. And I don't want to say he's the only reason I'm not going to make this a shelf boy, but he is a major reason that I'm going to not make this a shelf boy. Shelf girl. Sorry. Shelf girl with the Thin Mints and the whatever. That's the only Girl Scout cookie I know. So
shortbread.
Shortbread. Yeah. That's another one that I've heard. And not just hearing it now for the first time. Blue is the Warmest Color does not make it onto the Keystone Film Review shelf. Glenn, I am truly sorry about that.
That's all right.
But he just rubs me the wrong way. I don't like him. I don't plan on seeing any of his other movies.
I don't even know what else he's got. I'm not even going to look. I'm looking the other way, damn it.
Yeah. It looks like a whole bunch of nothing, honestly. So, yeah. So, with that being said, that brings us to our plugs for next week. Glenn, it is your turn to go first.
Okay. So, it's funny you were just talking about Stranger Things, right? Mm-hmm. because I was kind of scrolling looking for a plug, and then I came around this kid playing guitar. I was like, that looks like that kid from Stranger Things. And joke's on me, it is. He's actually in a band called Calpurnia. And I watched the video, and they're actually pretty good. This video is a little bit older. This is 2018, but they're still a band. They're still playing together. The lead guitarist is actually killer, and she's pretty young too. So I think they're all around the same age. They're just a kid band, or well, now teen band. Calpurnia, Blame, live on KEXP. That's on YouTube, and definitely listen for the lead guitarist alone, because it was actually really good.
Cool. And that's on YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Glenn, I'm sure you're not going to be surprised by my pick for this week, because I told you to watch it like 3 times already. I recently subscribed to Apple TV Plus. If I'm honest, there's maybe like 1 or 2 shows on there that make it
Worth it.
So, I'm not saying everyone should go and subscribe to Apple TV Plus, but there's a show on there created by Charlie Day, Rob McElhenney of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and also their co-creator Megan Gans, called Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet. It is essentially about the office of a video game company, kind of like World of Warcraft, where it's like an online free play, free world, whatever. I don't know enough about the
It's an MMORPG.
That's the thing that
Pretty
they say
much.
multiple times that I don't care enough to remember. But it's like it's a comedy based on that kind of office. And Robin McElhenney plays the CEO creator, who is just like a complete egomaniac, and it's just people. It's a really funny show. There are some brilliant, like emotional episodes of it. Most notably, episode 5 and episode 10. Episode 5 barely even has like the main cast in it, but it's just a brilliantly written episode. And then episode 10 is actually them in quarantine. The entire thing is done on a Zoom call, and holy fucking shit, it's hilarious. And also very emotional at times. So that is on Apple TV Plus, Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet, created in part by Rob McElhenney and starring Rob McElhenney. So go check it out if you can. You can try it for free for a week, so it's only 10 episodes.
Might as well.
Yeah, after your
While we're still in
week of
quarantine
free.
for a bit.
In a world of legendary heroes, one man will rise to take all of the credit.
This game has something that no one else will. Me.
This is where the magic happens.
Hey, can I get a coffee? I'm coming on! Everybody has that game that they fell in love with because they make an impact. Those games were somebody's legacy. Well, this is my legacy.
Our legacy.
Our legacy, whatever.
It's not my legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna hop on that. I love that man. He's hilarious. Charlie Day is also funny, so I can only imagine the writing's great.
Yeah.
So we move on to the
We do move on
to the thing that's not sponsoring us
So
yet.
those are our plugs for next week or this week. It is Netflix's turn to choose Netflix roulette. Netflix sponsor us.
Please.
So as everyone knows, we spin the roulette wheel 3 times. It gives us 3 movies, and then we pick which of those 3 we want to watch. We have it set for any score for both IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes in any genre. So it could be any genre and any quality. It could fucking suck. All 3 could suck, really. And then we're just stuck watching that. So without any further ado, let's spin the wheel. The first one is Red Istanbul. It is Italian, maybe? No, hold on. It is a Turkish movie. Italian and Turkish movie. Written and directed by Fertsan Ozpetek. There's one more there, but I'm not going to try it. And starring Halit Ergnik. Peanut butter.
Go ahead, peanut butter.
These names are harder than the French names, so I'm not even going to try. And Red Istanbul is about Dennis, an acclaimed author, is writing a book about his family and friends. He asks Orhan for critics. The day Orhan came to Istanbul from London, Dennis disappears. Orhan, Dennis's friend Naval, and Dennis's lover Yusuf try to find Dennis.
Interesting.
Dennis? I don't know.
Probably
But
Dennis.
yeah, that's that.
All right, there's one.
So Red Istanbul, that's the first one. Let's spin it again. Oh, hold on, I hit the wrong button. Stand by. Jersey Boys.
Oh.
Directed by Clint Eastwood. Full disclosure, I have seen this.
Same. I was on an accidental date because I didn't know it was a date when I saw it with somebody. So
Oh, fun.
that's how I remember
Clint
it.
Eastwood, starring Vincent Piazza, John Lloyd Young, Christopher Walken, Steve Sharipa, and other people. It is about the story of four men from the wrong side of the tracks in New Jersey who came together to form the iconic 1960s rock band, The Four Seasons. It is based on a true story and also based on the musical on Broadway. And I believe the character of Danny DeVito is in it because Danny DeVito actually knew them.
I don't remember that, honestly.
Probably because it wasn't played by Danny DeVito. But
You might be right.
Danny DeVito did know them, and I see
forgot
Nick.
Christopher Walken was in there. That's right.
Yeah. I see Nick DeVito here, but I don't see Danny DeVito. But Danny DeVito did know them, or Tommy DeVito. What? What is happening? Tommy DeVito, is he related to the Four Seasons? Danny DeVito?
Probably.
Let's check this out. My guess is that if he is related, he's distantly related, because it doesn't say anything about knowing them. But they got the last name, and I'm fairly certain that he knew them. I could be confusing it with something else, but Danny DeVito definitely knew someone at some point.
Mm-hmm.
The most vague sentence ever. So that is Jersey Boys on Netflix. And then for the last one, Mune, Guardians of the Moon. Oh boy. This is going to be, what a doozy. What a doozy. So Mune, Guardians of the Moon.
What the hell is that?
When an evil magma demon and his minions steal the sun of a magic world, the new guardians of both the sun and the moon must embark on a quest to retrieve and save their world from disaster as the moon faces destruction as well. Directed by Alexandra Heboyan and Benoit Philippon. It is starring, the English one I'm taking it, is Omar Sy, Itzia Higelin, and Mikhail Gregorio. Yeah, not a great week for the Netflix roulette. They gave us the gift of Road to Perdition, and now we got three.
Yeah, this is a very interesting setup here.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think we should scrap Jersey Boys for sure.
Yeah, since we both seen it.
It's an okay movie. But for the most part,
I can tell you right now, it would not make the shelf.
It would not make the shelf.
Yeah.
The soundtrack's great on it, but other than that,
soundtrack's really great. So it's between Red Istanbul and Moon or Muna.
And honestly, I've been thinking about Guardian of the Moon.
You're leaning Guardian of the Moon?
I think I'm leaning Guardian of the Moon. Because when's the last time we even did, or
animated
if we
movie?
have done an animated movie?
I feel like we have at some point, but it's definitely been a while. So this is definitely an interesting one to do, but it looks like we're going to be watching Moon or Muna or Muna, Guardian of the Moon on Netflix.
In a land far away, where sun and moon shine only thanks to heroic guardians.
The sun recognizes its new guardian. Stahone!
Oh yeah, the most unlikely little creature will be chosen.
You are the new guardian of the moon.
Him?
Moon?
And have greatness thrust upon him.
I really think there's been a mistake. I'm scared of the dark. The stars all look the same to me. I'm a terrible singer. Maybe? So, Guardian of the Moon? No!
It is trying to find the country of origin. It's a French animated film, probably dubbed over in English.
Yeah.
And it is about someone stole the sun, and then the Guardians of the Sun and Moon try to help and get the sun back or something.
Something like that.
Something like that. But we'll see how it is. I can't say I'm excited about it, but I'm open.
I'm looking forward to it more than I would rewatching Jersey Boys. So that's enough for me.
Yes. So I just wish that I knew the pronunciation of it, but Moona, Guardian of the Moon is our pick for next week. That is on Netflix. Netflix sponsor us. As always, you can check out our website, KeystoneFilmReview.com, on Instagram, Keystone_Film_Review, Twitter, Keystone_Film, on Facebook, Keystone Film Review, and on Letterboxd, I am Mike KFR.
And I am Glenn KFR.
And that will do it until next week, till we watch our second French movie in a row.
Yeah, for real. That's
but
weird.
This one will probably have English dubbed.
And
it's
not
a
some
cartoon.
really, really long, stretched out scenes.
Hey, you never know.
That's true. These Guardians of the
Moons, these Guardians of the Moons could get freaky.
Nice space rocks, baby.
Goodbye, everybody.
See ya.